Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of the show. It is episode 294, and I'm joined once again with Kyle Klingman. It is April 6th, 2022, and big film just dropped today, Kyle. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did. I've been watching a lot of the clips on social media, hearing about it from you. I'm stoked to watch it, but there's been a lot of great films dropping here in the last few weeks, and I caught up on two yesterday and really enjoyed both. So
What'd you
kudos
watch?
to you. I watched the Jenna Burkett and I watched the Stanford Resurrection
Oh,
documentaries.
how fitting.
Yeah,
Great
it is
segue.
fitting.
Great segue. Fight of Your Life dropped today. Really good and relevant and important film. But yeah, you mentioned the Resurrection, and I think that ties in really well with our guest for today. It's Real Woods. He was an All-American for Stanford this last year, placing 6th at 141 pounds, and he's joining us from like the stratosphere, I guess, somewhere in outer space. But Real, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Awesome. I'm great, man. I'm great. Thanks for joining us. Cal said he watched The Resurrection. You lived it, right? I know I asked you off air. You'd seen a little bit or maybe some clips here and there, but you haven't seen the full film. But that doesn't matter because you lived it. So I just kind of want to. We don't have to dive into everything, but I do have some questions. Like, you have the great perspective. When do you remember hearing? I'm guessing it's a vivid memory, maybe not, that, hey, the program's going to be dropped. And like, what did you think and feel, and how was that moment for you, or days or months, or yeah.
And I was back home and I was just training at our local MMA gym, Jackson's MMA. Shout out.
Yeah.
They're the best out there. But man, I was actually walking into the facility, and then I got a text in our team group chat that we have a urgent mandatory meeting that we have to get on this Zoom for. And so I'm just, obviously clueless, jump on the Zoom meeting, and our coaches tell us that there's about to be a school-wide, 11 sports-wide meeting with all the athletic committee, and they're making a decision to drop our program. And it was really very much of a shock, and it was difficult to process at the beginning. Obviously I was devastated, but I didn't really let it process. So over the course of the following months, it started to sink in, and I started to realize what it means, and it hurt more and more. It was heartbreaking. Stanford is my dream, and it had been my dream my whole life, and I finally got there, and I felt like I was, fulfilling that dream, and then it was just taken from me. It was taken from all of us and my teammates, and who worked so hard to get there. So it was just heartbreaking, to say the least.
Yeah. And I've seen the real story. I don't know if people haven't. There's a story about you and your journey to Stanford, right? A film type project. And knowing how important it was for you how important Stanford was, and going there and being able to wrestle and get an education from one of the most prestigious schools in the country, obviously shocking. Was there any part in the back of your head, like when you got this news, did you think that's going to happen? Or was the back of your head like, man, there's a way out of this? And what eventually did happen, did you think that could happen?
So, I mean, I had to ask around, ask my coaches, ask just people within the Stanford community, ask that question exactly. If it was possible to bring us back, if it was just completely a done deal, what that looked like. And initially they said that it's done. They thought about this for a while. This is something that they've just slowly been planning, and that it was a done deal. So first, I was distraught, and I was like, I had no fight. I would know, I want to feel like I have a fight in this, and I had no fight to give because there wasn't that opportunity. And then Keep Stanford Wrestling came along, and it brought about the belief that like there is, because I'm a single, I'm just a single wrestler on the team. I didn't think that there was much that I could do personally. But then when this community came together, it brought about the belief that there's a way out and there was a way through, getting our program back. And so yeah, that Keep Stanford Wrestling is really what brought that belief in
Sure.
myself, and I'm sure in the rest of the Stanford wrestling room and community.
I got to talk to Jason Borelli a few times throughout the process, right? Before I actually got brought back. And he was like adamant, we are going to fight. And like, there's, that same thing. There's a way out of this. What was what did he communicate to you guys about this whole thing?
He
The message,
communicated
that's
him
the
and
word I was looking for. Sorry.
What's that?
The message, that's the word I couldn't find. What's the message he communicated to you guys?
Yeah, he communicated that, we still have a year left and that there's still change that can be made, that he truly believes that no matter what they're saying in the administration, that, there's really change that can be made. So we took that with every ounce of passion that we have for this school and our wrestling team and our community, and did our best to make that change.
Now, couple getting dropped with COVID and being in, I don't know what your county is necessarily, but I know the restrictions were like, it wasn't easy, right? You guys had to, you had to stay apart from each other. I don't know. You're living in pods of 6 or something like that. Correct me if I'm getting any of this wrong. And you can only train with these few guys, and there's not even a whole lot of places to train. Everything inside shut down, right? What was it ever discouraging going through the season and just like probably seemed like one thing after they're going to drop the program. Now we can't go in the wrestling room. Now we can't have anybody come compete here. Now we can't leave and compete unless we quarantine for 2 weeks. Like, throughout this whole process, did it ever wear on you or become taxing and like just like almost overwhelmed?
Oh yeah. I'll tell you what. I mean, personally, it was so discouraging that everything was so discouraging that it looked like it was just going in the wrong direction. And it was to the point that I had to make a decision for myself and do what would best prepare me for my future. And I wasn't gonna, try to do, because in order to graduate, which was my main priority, I had to complete 21 units every quarter. And in order to do that, it was going to be really, really difficult to, seek to win a national title at the same time. So
Yeah.
I decided to put aside wrestling for the year, and me and my family had a really long talk, and that was my decision. So I focused on school, and I handled school, and then of course, as you know, I ended up wrestling, and what really came into that was the momentum of Keep Stanford Wrestling. Me really wanted to come back and make an impact, and a long talk with another talk with my family, and obviously they're really excited about the postseason coming up and stuff, and it's wrestling, and I love wrestling, so it was really, really difficult to stay away, and I had already stayed away for a long time throughout that season, so I had a change of mind, change of heart, and I decided to come back, and I felt like I had everything handled pretty well, in on the academic standpoint.
Right. Okay. And then, if I remember correctly, you guys took you took one road trip. I think your whole season you did in 2 weeks or a month or something. You left and you went I don't know, Little Rock, Oregon State. I think there were some places in between. What do you remember about this road trip?
Why wasn't on the road trip?
Oh, you didn't come till after it.
I didn't come until I think it was 8 or 9 days before the Pac-12 championships. I didn't train until 8 or 9 days until the Pac-12 championships.
Wow. Were you nervous that you would be like, I'm sure I can only put myself in your shoes. Like wrestlers, they're very prepared people, and it takes a lot to be prepared for NCAA wrestling and the conditioning and the lungs and the muscle fatigue and everything. Like, were you confident you'd be able to compete, or was there something in the back of your head like, I might not be? Oh,
It wasn't even in the back of my head. I knew that it was I had a disadvantage, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
I'm not the type of person to let my disadvantages and really take the best of me. So, I held the most. I had the same confidence that I did coming into this past NCAAs and that I will next NCAAs. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I don't think that really affected me. It was really truly the preparation that I had going into the tournament.
sure. Tournament comes and goes. Shane wins a title. It's on ESPN, but there's still questions around, like they still might drop us. And then of course Borelli doesn't know what's going on, so he's got to leave and he's got to find a job, right? He needs to support his family and everything else. That's understandable, and I feel bad for him, but I get the decision. Where were you? Now, do you remember getting the news that it's saved? And where were you when you got that news, and what was your action?
I was on campus with my team, and we're all staying in little because everything was all secluded, and we had to stay in our little kind of small communities in the dorm situation. So I was with my team. We're all living in these, several dorms that are right next to each other, and then and then all the rest of the athletes are actually in the same kind of dorm area, not the exact same dorm, but the same area. And I was sleeping, and very, very early in the morning, I just hear screaming and yelling, "We're saved! We're saved!" And it was literally like a movie. Like, it was incredible. Like, it was one of the most happiest times of my life. Like, I woke up and I, jumped right up, ran outside, started celebrating with all the rest of the athletes and my team. It was a wonderful moment.
I wish we could have been a fly on the wall. I wish there was a camera in the corner. I'm just picturing this scene of like you said, like out of a movie, right? Like joyous, like dancing in the streets. I'm picturing barefoot and just like so happy, straight out of bed. That's really cool. Now you guys are coachless. I mean, head coachless, right? Like Jason left. What were your thoughts there? Did you start hearing rumors? I don't know. Did you know Rob Cole much, or what's that time like in between, and maybe when they finally do announce that it's going to be Rob?
I was still concerned as to what our coaching staff would look like. So I was just curious, and like I said, I didn't know what the coaching staff looked like, so I was concerned, one, and then two, I knew that I was just curious to see who would come on board. They included a few of us in the process and thinking about what kind of coaches we should go after, and talking about the prospective coaches and what we thought about them. So when I heard Rob Cole, I was incredibly intrigued. Rob Cole is the man, and that's simple as that.
Were you included on? You said they included a few of us on the process of like trying to find the next head coach. Were you included in all that process? I guess okay. And then what was that like? What were those conversations like?
They're really more like what our interests were and what we look for in a head coach, and kind of what would make us most successful. Really, what would who we would think that we thrived with most.
Yeah. So they said Rob's name. You were intrigued, right? Because he's the man. He's done some incredible things at Cornell. And it seems like it would translate well into Stanford, right? They're similar institutions, right? Big time academic institutions. So they hire him. he brings his staff. He's got Chenzo, you got Grant Leith. Like, there's some freestyle guys. I guess just tell me about the season, working with the new staff, how that transition was, and what the season was like under new guidance.
Um, Man, I tell you what, the coaching staff did a better job than I anticipated because, coming into a new program, it's difficult for a lot of reasons for the us wrestlers on the team getting used to our new coaching staff. We haven't the different styles of coaching, so they really did a remarkable job of coming in and just becoming a part of the family. And it was just like they had been there already. It was like we had spent a few years with them already, so they did a really good job.
What
It
was the
made it easy
process?
for me.
Yeah,
It
go
was
ahead.
like it was like it was meant to be. You know what I mean? It made it really easy.
How important is connecting with the coach on a personal level, right? Not just being like, oh, these people are good at showing wrestling moves and maybe doing the things it takes to run a program, promoting and fundraising and everything else, but like those personal connections are just as, if not more important, right?
Absolutely. I mean, of course, they're there to help you and guide you to be the best you. I mean, hopefully not just on the wrestling mat, hopefully,
Right.
outside of the wrestling mat as well. So that's a personal relationship is really, really important.
Yeah. And it seemed like you maybe didn't wrestle a full schedule this year. Um, why was that? Was that on purpose? Were you dinged up? Was it just school, like you had mentioned before?
Yeah. So my fall quarter, we decided that it'd be best for me to take a leave of absence, um, just because I had been so one personally for me, I had been so dedicated to my school. I kind of like lost my kind of I felt like I really like lost passion in going to class. And I love class, and like throughout high school and even the beginning of at Stanford, like I really enjoy going to class and learning, you know so going taking those 21 units every quarter kind of was
Unbelievable.
very heavy. And I kind of felt like I, just got burned out and was like, I need a little time to take to myself and, start. So, and then go into the winter quarter taking a little lighter load so I can enjoy these classes, enjoy school again.
I think that's awesome that, I think a lot of, and I'm not excluded from this, a lot of college wrestlers, they want to wrestle and then there's the school too. So they'll do it because that's part of the deal. But it sounds like you're like all in on school and enjoy going to classes. And I think that's great because I don't know that that's the case with all wrestlers. Why I don't know if you can, I don't know if you can answer this, right? Why do you think that is?
Um, that's a
Yes.
really good question. It's a really good question. To give a solid answer, I feel like I'd have to think about it a little more, but I feel like maybe just off the top of my head, uh, it's very difficult to balance multiple things in your life, and very difficult to be passionate about multiple things in your life. And there's a lot of truly there's a lot of the social aspect of my life that I kind of sacrifice for my passion for school and wrestling. So I don't think a lot of people are willing to sacrifice that social aspect in their lives. And then another thing, I think, just as wrestlers, we're different. We're built to fight. We're built for war. We're built for battle. So I think maybe that mindset is less isn't accurately or effectively translated to like a perspective in school. I think that I translate my perspective in wrestling, like being a warrior, into school. And like I'm a very competitive person, and I let that drive me, and I let that drive my success. So both in wrestling and in school. So when I'm in school and I'm in class, I I'm close to my classmates, but I also compete with them, and I want to do better than them. I want to have I want to have better insight with, I don't know, just little things. But like I said, I don't think that mindset is also translated into wrestling, and I think that wrestlers need to do better at uh, translating that mindset and being that same competitive person with that same drive, also in your education, because your education is very, very, very important. It's what I mean. I think it's what truly matters, and at the end of the day, because what and it can take you so far.
That's awesome. You answered my next question without even asking. I was gonna say, are you competitive in the classroom? Are you trying to compete with your classmates and get better grades or this and that? And it sounds like the answer is yes. So hats off to you. Back to competition, NCAA championships, right? So that was a month ago or something like that. I believe you came in as the 4 seed. Nick Lee's the returning champ, the heavy favorite, probably. I don't know, when you look at brackets, right? Everybody, I know we all take it match at a time, but at the same time, we all gonna see where we're at and what our path to victory would be. What would you think when you saw brackets whenever they came out, or did you look at them?
I looked at them.
Yeah,
I thought that I really was amazed how accurate I was at predicting where I was going to be at and where everyone else was going to be at.
really.
Yeah, so I was pretty darn on point. Like, so it was exactly what I expected, and I felt good going into it.
Sure. Man, how'd you feel about the performance? I guess you win. I think you crushed up through the quarters, and then obviously you run into Nick Lee in the semis, 3-2. It had to have been his closest match this year because they didn't lose one. How'd you feel about that? How'd you feel you wrestled in that match?
I felt I felt like I wrestled okay. I felt, I mean, obviously disappointed in the loss, but I felt like they're very small things. Of course, there are we're the
Yeah.
top 1% of the wrestling community. So it's just very small, minor adjustments that I needed to make that I kind of started making throughout the match, but by the end of the match, he had gotten me so worn out and slowed me down a lot that it was hard to capitalize on the adjustments. But how I felt about the match, I mean, I was disappointed. I knew that I felt like I was the better wrestler. You know what I mean? So, and I know that I'm the better wrestler. It's just that I have to fine tune those adjustments and prove that.
Describe.
And it's not over. I want to go in the Olympic. I want to be on the Olympic team. I want to be the
Yeah.
2024. That's my dream.
Hell yeah. Talk to me about this that Saturday night session, right? They got the semifinals going on, big deal. The blood rounds on the outside. There's like so much emotion. You can call it tension. There's so much energy. I mean, I'm just sitting in the back with a camera, and you hear the crowd, and you can feel, you see the elation. Kids are elated when they win. Kids are devastated when they lose. You can feel and see the emotion and the energy in the building. What's it like from the perspective of somebody who's competing? What was it like for you, either walking in the building or warming up or being in the back for the first 2 weights while the finals are being set? Place is packed.
Yeah, you just talking about it, I can't help to smile because it was just such an incredible experience. Like going out there and wrestling for that many people, and just all even the ups and downs it's just an incredible experience to be a part of, and even to witness too. I was also a spectator as well as a competitor down there, and it was awesome. It was an experience like none other. It's really difficult to put into words like what it felt like, because it was just everything that I'd imagined and more in what that experience would be like, because growing up, that's where I every time I wrestled, that's where I imagined myself, you know? So uh it was just it was a wonderful, wonderful time.
Yeah.
I had a great time, you know.
That's awesome. That's awesome because it really is. I'm glad to hear that. I think some guys maybe put too much pressure on themselves and aren't able to enjoy it. You know, has that ever been the case with you where you're so focused on winning or wrestling or performing that you forget to enjoy it or not able to?
That I mean, that's happened before.
Yeah.
I've but I learned from it, and it was a while back, like in high school. I really let myself like get in my head and put too much pressure, and um, but I've learned from that and I've grown up a lot. So now I really put a lot less pressure on myself. Of course, there's pressure, but it's not to the point where it affects me in any way. But I let the pressure drive me now, and it's more really I just really am just enjoying the experience, you know. It's like
That's a
I'm
pretty
just living a dream with my eyes open out there.
living a dream with my eyes open. I love it. But that's a really a mature perspective, like being able to identify that in high school, right? Was it like a match or a tournament or an instance in particular, or was it just kind of
Uh,
an overall thing that you just figured out?
yeah, it was actually I mean match and tournament in particular my sophomore year when I went undefeated and um, I was killing it that year. I won Ironman, and then I majored the kid in the sectional finals the week before, and then I lost to him at the last second at the state finals. You know, it was just a really really brutal situation, and it was solely to do with you know where I was at in my head and my I was I was still young, you know. I obviously thought I had everything together, but I was still young and went into the tournament thinking, you know, what if I lose? What if I just went this whole way undefeated and then I just, you know, he's a solid he can maybe what if he pulled some like those thoughts are just I let them get in my head and overwhelm me. I mean, maybe they're gonna get in your head, but you can't like give any meaning or significance to them. Like it's not first of all what is gonna happen because you're in control of that, you know, as much as you can be. But secondly, like why is that gonna be something that you're thinking about going into a match that you want to win? Like, is that gonna help you? No, it's not gonna help you. That shouldn't be something you give significance to.
And at the time, and still, right, winning a state title is a big deal, but at the time, huge deal. Right? Once it's passed and you're onto the NCAAs, it's actually a great place to learn a lesson, right? Like, okay, I botched the state title, whatever, but now NCAAs and Olympics, right? What you mentioned is what you're really looking forward to. So probably a pretty not ideal scenario, but in the end, a pretty good one a pretty good place to learn a lesson, I would think, right?
Absolutely.
So NCAAs come, you win All American honors, feeling good. Boom, you're entered the transfer portal. When did that decision get made and why to enter the
So
transfer
going,
portal first?
say it again.
Yeah, when and why was the decision made to enter the transfer portal?
So going into the end of the season, I kind of knew that I was going to graduate, and um, knowing that when I graduate, I fulfill my dream in being here at Stanford and um, getting my degree. So going into that, like I said, going into the end of the season, I made the decision to start looking at where I can put myself in the best environment to succeed in wrestling. So, I mean, I started thinking about schools, and I thought about, of course, Iowa and Michigan and Penn State a little bit, and those were kind of the main three. I felt like I could put myself in the best environment. So that kind of what went into making the decision to go on the transfer portal.
Sure. And then just a day or a couple days. I mean, that was I think that was earlier this week, maybe, or was that late last week? But then why the decision to land at Iowa?
Okay, so I enter the transfer portal. I know these coaches who I want to call, and uh, Tom Brand is the first coach I call. I call him up. First coach I call because he's the first one who answered. But I call him up, and he answers me. We have a good conversation, and he tells me he's gonna booking a flight tomorrow to come see me. And I said, okay, let's have great, wonderful. We have a conversation face to face. So the next day I see him, talk to him, sit down with him. And we have a conversation just about what Iowa's like and the opportunities that I have there on the mat, and all my partners that I'm gonna have, and Ironman staying there. I'm gonna have Max Mirren 49. I'm gonna have Pat Lugo to train with. DeSanto's 33. I have a lot of really great partners, and it's gonna be a really great environment. And that's what I was looking for. And he said that he's gonna offer me a full ride, and just what really sold me is the opportunity to compete at somewhere like Iowa, like competing in a home duel in front of 15,000 fans is what more could you want as a competitor, especially as a wrestler that you don't ever get that many fans at one home duel. Certainly, not for Stanford yet. Hopefully, we continue to grow our fan base, but most anywhere you're not gonna get 15,000 fans at a home duel. So just that, I really, really think that I can thrive in that environment. I want that, I want to put on a show, and I really think that I can do that there at Iowa.
It's an amazing environment. Kyle's probably been to 50 duels there, maybe more. I don't know. Over the years, I've been to plenty. Have you ever been to Carver, like during an event?
Yeah. Matter of fact, it's funny because I feel like life comes full circle, because in high school, I was in Chicago, so I was right there.
Yeah.
And I would go to Iowa to both train and watch their duels. So it's like it's somewhat of I felt what it felt like, growing up. So it was it was almost a no-brainer for me.
So you call Tom, he answers. The next day, he's flown out to see you. Did you talk to any other coaches, or was it just like that? This is it. We're good. I'm going to Iowa. Done.
Yeah, it was more of I wanted to talk to other coaches, but I feel like they didn't have the same urgency as he did, first of all, and it seemed like everything I was looking for. And ultimately, when you have everything that you're looking for right in front of your face, you take that opportunity.
You grew up going to Iowa meets, even though your dream was to go to Stanford and get a degree, which you're going to finish up, I think you said this summer, with that degree. Did any part of you want to go compete for the Hawkeyes when you were younger?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, going and being there, it was a great environment, pretty intense, and what I was used to in high school. Izzy style is intense.
Yeah.
And I thrive in that environment, though. That's what the kind of environment I succeed most at. So, yeah, I'm really excited. But to answer your question, yeah, I did. I mean, that was somewhere where I felt like I wanted to go, but I also value my education highly. So I think Stanford was truly the best place for me to continue to do my undergrad.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, I'm sure you're not going to be surprised that there's been some rumors, or a lot of rumors, circling your name, going to Iowa, maybe going anywhere else, NIL deals. Have you struck any NIL deals in college or recently?
I mean, I've had several here and there here at Stanford, but none at Iowa yet. I know there's a lot of opportunity there. I talked to a few of the wrestlers about different opportunities that they have, but I know Iowa's a massive fan base. I'm gonna have a lot of opportunities there. Um, yeah, there hasn't been like I haven't made it an NIL deal yet.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it, but it's not like all this like social media, like I don't know, it's crazy, but it's cool. think think of it, it's like cool these numbers are going around, but like let me get that in my pocket. Where is it at? So I'm gonna go find it though. I'm gonna figure it out.
When you hear this, right? I don't know. They're like 1.25 million, 300. Well, the numbers are kind of crazy. When you hear these things, and people are saying, "Oh, he's accepted because he's getting all this money." What's that make you? What's that make you think? How does that make you feel?
Um, I don't really give any like thought to like I don't know. You say those things. You say that it's just like it doesn't mean much. It's not like that's what I'm actually getting.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just media. It's just social media. Like that's how it works. Things are gonna be said that are just ridiculous, and you just look at them, brush them off, and it is what it is.
Man, that's a great perspective. Uh, just NIL in general, right? I think it's been a year, or maybe it'll be a year in July or something like that. What are your thoughts on just the general idea of, you know, NCAA athletes being able to capitalize on name, image, and likeness?
It's incredible. It's a great opportunity for us. It's something that I think that we deserve. We put our whole lives and our passion into this, our hearts into this, and I think that we should get some compensation out of it to help us out throughout our college experience, and hopefully help set us up for our careers and our life after college wrestling.
Every athlete's different, right? Spencer Lee's wildly popular. Maybe he's got an agent, but maybe not. But how do you see this transpiring? Do you think college athletes will need an agent or somebody to help them broker deals at some point?
I think that's important, of course. If you don't know much about money, especially someone for me like me. Luckily, I have a lot of people and a good network of people who are really intelligent and smart with um, you know making money. But a lot of people, a lot of kids are going to come up who don't come from money and who don't come from that environment of they're going to need agents. Agents are probably a really good idea.
All right. Do you see yourself getting an agent before you graduate?
Um,
Or not you're graduating this spring, you're graduating this summer, but before you finish up your eligibility.
I have a lot of really good people, I feel like, around me, um, that are willing to do anything for me and that are really smart, with these kind of things. So I don't know if I will. It's a good question though. Maybe out there in Iowa.
Sure.
Who knows?
So you said you're finishing school like through the summer, right? I think maybe August, and then August you pack your stuff and head back to the Midwest.
Yes, sir.
That's exciting. It's exciting, man.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, we're watching you in the black and gold. It'll be something, and the fan base, I'm sure it'll be electric. So we're kind of heading down towards the end of the line, but Kyle Klingman's been patiently waiting over here, um, calculating things, taking notes. I don't know what he does. He just sits there and he's great. But he's got a little game for you, and
Okay.
he's gonna take it over.
Okay.
I don't know what I do either, so I'm on board with Mark. So good insight. It's our game called Sweat It Out. Real, are you ready to play?
Yes, sir.
All right, question
How do you
number
play it?
one. Let's test your Iowa history. What year did Tom Brands win an Olympic gold medal?
Oh man. Oh man. Wait. Let me think. Was it 98?
Close.
2 years before that,
96.
There
It
we
was
go.
96.
We'll give it to him.
96.
He's already
Number
sweating,
2.
Kyle.
Yeah, I'm
Sweat it
already
out.
sweating. You got me. First question.
Number 2, what Red Sox pitcher threw Yankees coach Don Zimmer to the ground during the 2003 American League Championship Series?
I have no idea. What?
Pedro Martinez.
That's just a random question here. Wait, they
All right,
didn't get that one
random
right.
question.
Thanks,
Number
Bader.
3, who
I think
holds
you
the
just, like,
single season?
Thinking
Yeah,
them.
I do. I love you. I'm really sure.
Who holds the single season rushing yards record in the football bowl division? So in college football, who holds the single season rushing record?
I'm not sure. Reggie Bush.
Guy named Barry Sanders.
Oh, what? That's my favorite football player. I should know that.
Kyle probably did some research and somehow figured out that you like Barry Sanders, and that's why he made this question. If I know
I remember I
Kyle,
wrote a paper on it in elementary school. You get a hold of that somehow.
if I know Kyle, somehow he found it. Dude's a wizard.
All right, number 4. Where did Magic Johnson play basketball in college?
College. Yeah, I don't know.
Michigan State.
Where would you? Usually they're tied. There's some theme here. Am I missing the theme today?
Well, I thought you liked the Lakers.
I do like the Lakers.
Magic Johnson's like 55.
Oh man.
I mean, there's a new HBO series about the Lakers, so I just thought, well, maybe you're watching it. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then number 5,
What's that?
Go ahead.
Iowa
I just
has
said I have
7
too much
3.
school going.
Go ahead.
No, I just said I have too much school going on.
Oh,
Okay.
well, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And then number 5, Iowa has 7 3-time NCAA champions. Name one, and one can't be Spencer Lee.
Okay, Tom Brands. Oh wait.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't
Tom Brands.
don't go
Okay,
backwards there. You got it.
3 of them.
No, you said just
name
name
those
one
people.
3-timer.
Oh, name one. Tom Brands.
Can you name
just
2
name
more
one,
just
yeah.
for bonus points?
Oh man. No, I'd have to think. No, I don't think so.
How about was Barry Davis 3-timer? And Jim Zaleski and Lincoln McElravy. Go ahead and hit myself.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. He's still in the show.
Just trying to make the show. Okay. What we get? 2 out of 5 there?
2 out of 5, 3 if you
That's
count
terrible.
helping them with the
Well,
Olympic team.
How about this? If you get 2 out of 5 on Sweat It Out, but you get a Stanford degree, I'd take the degree. So that's okay.
I know. I'm gonna improve my sweat it out skills.
All right. We'll get you back on, and we'll wrangle up another set of questions.
Oh, good.
I'll try to get you. So we got one more game before we let you go. We'll call this one Wins and Whoopins. All right. So this is like thinking back over the span of your career from your first match as a youth through NCAA's this year. Can you think of one win that stands out as memorable? It can be like the best win you ever had, or a good come from behind win, or avenging a loss, or whatever it is. It can be youth, high school, college, freestyle, folk style, Greco, beach. I don't know. One win that stands out as memorable, and one like just ass whooping that everybody takes one at some point, right? That you just like came off the mat and you wish nobody would ask you about, but here I am asking you to talk about it. One win, one whooping. Answer either one first.
Say a win. I'm trying to think. Probably say, just to keep it consistent, I'll say just recently my Pac-12 championship win, because I had taken a loss there before, and then a loss would be, the same to the same guy in our dual meet, and I got pinned, a quick pin, and I just, I wouldn't want to be asked about that. I'm just like,
but here I am
Here I am.
asking you about it.
Yeah.
So that's cool, though. I appreciate you coming forth with that information and talking about it. And really, I appreciate you taking the time to chat with us today. It's 8:49 on the West Coast, so early riser for you. But man, it's been a joy, and it's cool to hear your story from getting to Stanford, thinking it's dropped, sticking around, taking the extra course load, and coming back and becoming an All-American this year before transferring out to Iowa. So really exciting things for you to come in the future. And we wish you the best of luck. We're going to give you the final word before we let you go. Anything you want to say about anything?
Coach Blake just texted me that my biggest whooping is his whooping that he gave me after practice my freshman year when I wanted to go to Vegas for a UFC fight.
Oh, let's hear this story. This sounds like a good one.
No, I just wanted to go to Vegas because there was a big John Jones UFC fight going on, and I had a good relationship with him, and I asked him, and he said that wasn't a good idea, and I don't know, we just maybe tussled me a little bit in the room, but he's big.
Yeah. All right. Well, shout out to Coach Blake.
The last words. I mean, probably, I'm really excited to compete for Iowa, and I'm looking forward to putting on a show for all the Iowa fans out there. And I just want you to know that that's my goal, and I'm excited to do that for you guys.
Awesome. Well, Rio, we're excited to see you next year in the black and gold, and hopefully get out the Carver and catch a duel, because it's always great. So thanks so much for joining us, and best luck to you moving forward.
Thank you much.
All right. Thanks, man. Have a great day.
Yeah.
All right, Kyle, another solid show. Rio Woods kind of laying out what went down. So really good conversation with him.
Fascinating guy and smart guy, just a unique path. And boy, if he's looking for 15,000 fans, he's got the right place.
Yeah. Excited to see him, like I said, in the black and gold. So that'll do it for today's show. That'll do it for this week. We'll be back on Monday of next week. So for Rio Woods and Kyle Klingman, I'm Mark Bader. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.